What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Oh my gosh, we're on episode 3 already. I didn't think I'd be getting to episode 3. Honestly, I didn't. I thought I would have given up by now on the podcast and said, you know what? I just can't do it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
One of my lights just fell. That's okay. It was one of the non-important lights anyway. It wasn't producing much light anyway. At least I don't think so. But yeah, I didn't think I'd make it to episode 3. I thought I would have given up because there's too much going on in my life. And juggling a vlog and a podcast and trying to keep them both balanced. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to do it, but here I am. And the unfortunate news is, unfortunately, I am not going to be able to post an audio version to my Facebook. However, that can change. I want you guys to go over and like Inspirational Post by ChadwickBaum, the Facebook page. We need to get the likes up in order for me to be able to post the podcast there so you can actually listen to it instead of watching my beautiful face on camera. But until then, until it gets enough likes, you're going to have to keep tuning in here to youtube.com/ChadwickBaumVlogs. So you will have to watch it here. And I will leave a link on the Facebook page to where people can go watch it, because I have a lot of people asking me, hey, where's your podcast? I didn't see it. I don't know where it's at. So I link it in the description of every YouTube video here. So I don't know why you'd be looking for it there, actually. Duh. I link it in every Facebook post. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. So I'm going to start doing that. I didn't used to, but I'm going to start doing that now. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the intro, guys. Let me fix my sleeve here. So, I'm ChadwickBaum, for those of you who don't know, and this is my podcast. Let's go. All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Now, for some odd reason, since I have the mic connected to my computer, which, yes, unfortunately, poor quality, but it's the one way I can get good sound with using the mic. So, you might be wondering, why am I using the computer? Because it's just more easier to have the video right there than having to try to upload a 30-minute video to my computer and then edit it and then wait another hour or so just for it to upload to YouTube. So it's easier if I just use my laptop, got the mic here for good quality sound. And since I have the mic connected here, I have this weird thing where I'm sitting here talking to the mic instead of actually looking at you guys. And I get it, it's a podcast, you're supposed to talk to the mic. But as long as I'm in the general area here, the mic should pick up good quality sound. And so I'm going to try to look at the camera, but just know you might catch me looking off at the microphone. But anyways, let's get right back into part 2 of finding myself, which I wanted to jump back into. So I left off with my high school years. So we're going to start from that point and we're going to jump forward. So, starting after I graduated high school. So after I graduated high school, it was just this weird period of just doing nothing because I was so lost. Because, I was used to high school, used to having friends, hanging out with people. I really just didn't quite know what to do with my life. Most of the people I knew in high school went off to college, went and did all that great stuff. And I just stayed at home and some of my friends were still in town, but not really doing much. I didn't know how to balance my life, you know. I didn't have a job quite yet. And so I was like, well, what am I going to do? And, well, I ended up finding out about this trans group. Well, not really trans specific group. It was the LGBT group. And so I joined. And just not really knowing much about it, I became friends with people in the group. So I was like, okay, well, I don't really know these people. And I will admit, I was scared at first. Like, I had met these people through email and talked to them through email and went and met them in person. Like, we had planned, like, I had planned to go with them, because I didn't drive, in their car out of town to have them help me with my trans needs. I met some trans people within the group. And which, now that I'm thinking about it, is completely stupid that I went in a stranger's car. But, you know, when you're desperate, you're desperate. But be careful, guys. I'm saying, if you're trans, be careful. Do not get into random cars. It could be very dangerous. Sorry, I had to wipe something off my thing, which, in a sense, adjusted it. Sorry. I'm going to leave it like this. I like it. But, yeah, so I had met some really wonderful people, and my first experience was hanging out with a trans person from the group. I'm not going to name names due to confidentiality. I said that I would not say any names or any specific things that happened, like, about people in this group. But anyway, I had a beautiful time. I ended up having some of the best times of my life experiencing trans-related stuff, living my true self, and got to even dress up as my trans self and had a really great time. And back then, some of you don't know, I went by the name Rebecca. That was going to be my first trans identity. And now Rebecca is this cute, you see these girls within your high school. She's this cute, not very popular girl, but well known. She wears purple all the time. Always has her homework done and turned in time. And now Rebecca is not the girl that raises her hand in class and says, hey, you forgot to assign the homework. She is not that. I will tell you that right now. And see, you caught me looking at the mic again. Sorry. But she is not one of those types of, you forgot the homework, you know. No, Rebecca is this sweet, nice girl that I picture, and always dressed nicely, very feminine, and just perfect. You know, that's what I saw her as. Here is a picture of me as Rebecca and the way I wanted to look. And obviously now you guys know I go by Jade. When I'm my trans self, that is. Right now I'm not my trans self. My beard is actually quite growing. I need to shave it here soon. But yes, I have had an amazing time as Rebecca and being a part of this group. We even took a trip as this group over to the Tri-Cities area over in Washington. We went to Kennewick, Washington, because that's where a lot of the shopping mall, that's where there's a big shopping mall there, and it's the closest place from the Grand. Boise and Kennewick are the closest places to go shopping for big name brands such as Nike and Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie & Fitch, American Eagle, all that stuff. You know, Bed Bath & Beyond. If you want to go to any of those things, you go to Kennewick or you go to Boise. So we went to Kennewick, and I had a great experience. I got to actually go out in the public as my trans self. I was so excited and got so many compliments and smiles. It made me feel amazing. And my mom said, "It feels great to be complimented, doesn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, it does." And so, speed past that moment, I am still a part of the group in this future time. It was like maybe 3 months after I had joined this group, I had texted my mom and said, "Hey, listen, so I've really been struggling and I want to be my trans self full time. Like, I want to transition. And I know you said that I could transition after high school." And she did. She said I could transition after high school. But what I didn't know is that there was some, what you call it, fine print. Fine print is what I like to call it. And the fine print, she basically told me, was you can transition after you graduate high school, but I need you to A, have your own place, be under your own roof, and be living on your own, to be able to start your transition. And I didn't know that, but I told her that's what I wanted to do. Well, she was all for it back then. Like, yeah, let's do it, but it's going to take a little bit for people to get used to it. You can't just do this and expect people to be okay, oh, okay, yeah, this is the new thing. No, people have to adjust to it. And I knew that was going to be a difficult part of it, but I didn't know exactly how hard it was going to be back then. But we were going to go for it. And, well, we ended up having some complications. And me and my mom had to sit down and have this big chat, basically saying that this is the life I want to live. And she felt bad for not letting me live the life I want to live full time. So I unfortunately had to suppress it and keep it till I moved out on my own. Which, even then, when I finally got my own place, I lived with a roommate, and it was just too awkward to try to transition as myself. So once I finally got my own place, lived by myself, I decided to finally transition, which wasn't until 2018. And I will say I definitely did not know, like I said, I did not know how people adjusting to it and how the trans life was going to be difficult until now. So 2018 hits, I transition, right? And I start my transition, and I had a big, huge, awkward phase, which I've showed you. I had hair showing through my beard hair, showing through my makeup. It was just all awkward. I was using crappy razors. I didn't quite, it was just that pre-transition. And I'm sure everybody that is transition knows about the pre-transition and how when you first start, you don't look great at all. And I felt great and I felt like my true authentic self, but I had a lot to learn. And I realized that there was a lot of awkwardness. There was a lot of awkward tension between me and certain people now. They would come up and talk to me, or if they had to, or if I had to talk to them, it was very awkward. And a lot of people were actually afraid, believe it or not, to ask me "Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Is you doing okay?" And I'd be like, "Yes, I am actually," and would have to talk to them. And I realized that once I explained to people about the situation and what pronouns I preferred and everything, and how I wasn't about shoving it down people's throat, everybody was very "Okay, I get it, I understand it, thank you so much for clearing it up." And there wasn't as much awkward tension once I explained it. A lot of people thought I was very good looking and beautiful, and other people thought differently about that. And unfortunately, I had people laugh in my face, not on purpose, because they were just caught off guard by this situation. and didn't necessarily know what was going on. They just thought like they just saw someone that they knew as a man is now wearing makeup and female clothing, and they didn't quite understand it. You know what I'm saying? So, I dealt with a lot of hardships during that, a lot of laughter, and a lot of people I lost, friends and stuff. But it's okay. They weren't like best friends or close friends. I still have all my best friends, which is great. So, I was living the life I wanted to live. Well, it came to the point in my life where I actually ended up getting let go from Walmart, which was a sad part of my life because Walmart was so supportive through my transition and helping me along the way and making sure work was going as smoothly as possible. And I did a lot of things that was very terrible, like not bad things out there, but I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have brought to work. You know, I shouldn't have brought certain things to work that I did. I brought a lot of personal things to work that I should have just left at home and talked with other people about. But work was very helpful, and I thought I could definitely confide in people at work. And one of the things I will mention that not even my brother and sister don't know this, but when I worked out there, I just want to thank all the managers I worked with out there, because there was one day when I was at work, I had gotten a phone call or a text from my dad's. I had asked him a question, and I'd gotten a text back from him saying that he was in the hospital. And I said, what are you doing? He said he was in the ER. And I'm like, well, what are you doing in the ER? He said, well, your sister had a car accident. We're here at the ER getting her checked out. And I said, oh my God. I said, is she okay? I said, do I need to come? And he said, no, everything's fine. She's got a few cuts and bruises. We just need to make sure nothing permanent has happened. And I was literally like almost in tears when I heard that, because my sister could have died. Seriously. So I sat literally in the manager's office talking with my managers, and they said, hey, listen, you're free to sit in here for as long as you need to recuperate. And I said, I very much appreciate that. And they seriously let me sit in there and have my little minute, and which was great. I appreciate the hell out of my management team that I worked with there at that time. Unfortunately, the management team, there's still a few of the same ones, but it's kind of changed. But it was great. I appreciate everybody. Even the store manager at the time that was working was amazing. So if you work at Walmart and are ever planning to transition, I highly recommend it, transitioning while you work at Walmart, because they are so supportive and the company is amazing when it comes to that sort of stuff. But yeah, that was pretty much my time at Walmart. And now, like I said, the sad part of my life, when I got let go, I was still fully transitioning. I was living full-time as a woman. And then it came to around Christmas time when I was notified, not really notified, but I was told that people could see the beard hairs showing through my makeup, which I was blind and oblivious to that, because I was just seeing myself and who I wanted to be. I was blind and oblivious to that. Well, once I finally noticed it, it really stressed me out, and I would get to a point where I would like try to shave. Like I was shaving daily anyway, but I would shave even harder with these dinky little razors I had, trying to get it to work, and it wasn't working, and I was stressing out. Well, I was using the wrong razors completely, and it helps when you transition to use the correct razors. But after that, I went through a period, which I still am stuck in that period, to where I go from Jade to Cabe, to Cabe to Jade. And it's just where I have to be, because I found out that if I try to shave daily, my face gets too irritated. I don't get a proper shave, and I can't wear makeup because it just looks weird, so I can't be myself. So the goal I've set for me now is to get laser hair removal on my beard, so that way it can get to a point where I can choose whether I want to wear makeup or not for that day. So literally I can go to times where, say, like, I don't want to wear makeup. I don't have to wear makeup that day. There's days I can just go without wearing makeup. And I can even just, like, if I want, just throw on foundation. And it's not going to be a big process of me having to scrub hard on my face to get it off because of the 5 o'clock shadow and thin beard hairs that the makeup gets all stuck to and whatnot. And the shaving process, I don't have to do all that once I get laser hair removal. And that's the goal I'm setting for myself, is to be able to eventually get that. And I hope that someday I can talk myself into getting it. Just like I'm trying to talk myself into getting a tattoo, which I can't do because I'm nervous. But yes, so I'm hoping that all will turn out well. I'm truly hoping that it's all going to turn out well, and it's going to be great, and I'm just going to have the best time of my life, being my trans self, living full time. But yeah, guys, that is literally finding myself part 2. I know this podcast is a little bit shorter than previous podcasts, but that's really all I got to say. And I just want to get it out there, get this podcast done and out there so I can at least have a podcast rather than no podcast. And I also have to continue filming the vlogs, so stay tuned for that. If you're watching this before the vlog, which you should be. So yeah, guys. Thanks for listening and tuning into the podcast. I eventually will get an audio version of the podcast up and going. Whether it's through an app or getting Facebook to finally work. And if you guys know a solution to the why Facebook won't let me upload the podcast to my podcast page, please let me know, because I would like to know why it won't work. But alright, guys, thanks for tuning in. I will see you next week on the podcast. If you want to see more of me, go ahead and check out the vlog tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later.